Live, it says. Good morning, John. All right, and good morning, everybody, to our listeners on Racing Radio. Hello and welcome to our second Racing Radio broadcast. We're all excited. We're waiting for Peter to join us. This episode, as all episodes, is actually live on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn every Thursday at 10 o'clock with video, but we're in sound only on Racing Radio at 11 a.m. every Saturday. I got it wrong last week because it's every Saturday at 11 o'clock. So I just need to make one alteration and then we can get underway. I can make this in time, it'd be good. No, on to 6. I need a 6. I think I've got it. Take that off and bring you into the screen. 3, 2, 1. Morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen.
All right. Okay. So this is, welcome to the show, everybody. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 366. Incredible. All good. Right. Well, we've not heard a word from Peter. I mean, I think he's seen the message. I know he hasn't seen the message. So I don't know where he is. Just hang on. Let's have a look. And right, it's just you and me. I think it's fair to say that. And oh, wait a minute. Arriving in the studio. And I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to press the button. Good morning. Oh, I have no sound, Peter. I have no sound. It's a way to get a coffee. He can't start the show without a coffee. And then he's got to switch his microphone on because at the moment Peter's silent. And that's a rare thing.
Yeah, well, he's nipped out to Costa, has he, to get his coffee?
Well, he's with us in the studio and I can see him on screen, but
he looks to be doing something else.
Hello.
Could be.
Hey.
Hello, Peter.
Do you know, I'm getting fed up with these systems. I couldn't get my camera on with Team, what do you call it? What's that Team thing from Microsoft? And this one wants that one, and that one, that's that one. I'm having a rant right away about technology. I'll be an AI one day, and you'll say, hey, AI, on this camera, do that camera. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Fortunately, there's no AI in webcams at the moment. I mean, I just leave mine the same every week and it seems to work.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me.
But
right.
This AI is going to make everybody the same, isn't it?
If we all use the same AI, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's all going to learn from the same place, hasn't it? So.
I seen an interesting one with Elon Musk yesterday with they were paying no paper, stone, scissors.
Yeah.
The AI won every time. And it says, I'm learning how to take over the human race.
we used to watch films back in the 60s where computers, since, where computers took over the world.
Yeah. Well, they've always said that. Joe, in Aberdeen, where I'm from, because if maybe a Royston radio's listening, they all used to say, yeah, one day it's going to be peak oil. Yeah, there's going to be peak oil. Peak oil. And then peak oil came. And most of them weren't ready for it. They thought it would never happen. Peak oil.
Indeed. All right, I just want to read something.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to read this. Peter, this is from The Economist. Yeah. It's not The Guardian. Okay. Last year, Britain became only the third country to have $1 trillion tech economy. its life sciences industry gave the world one of the top 2 most commonly used COVID vaccines, and dexamethasone, the antiviral treatment which saves lives globally. It is second only to China for installed offshore wind capacity, which contributed to the fact that last year 40% of our electricity came from renewable sources. We have the opportunity with our top-class universities and world-leading financial services sector to harness these strengths and turn Britain into the world's next Silicon Valley. But it will take a lot of determination and reform to get there.
Okay.
I thought we'd start on a positive note.
Yeah, but it depends. If you've got a bank that's funding them, it goes bust.
I knew if I posted something, if I read something optimistic. I was just pleased to actually see it, to actually, somebody to actually tell us what the strengths of the UK are, because we do have many of them, and we tend to focus on the problems rather than the opportunities sometimes.
Yeah.
But we do lead the world in many things. Right, we
John still got that cough.
Yeah, no, it's hanging around, John.
It won't go.
Wow.
I've had all the junk down my throat to get rid of it, but it's still there.
Yeah, we are leaders. We do our bit for humanity, and in fact, I'll let the Royston Radio and everybody else that's listening is my friend John Otto, who's of Ukrainian descent. He's been kept alive all his life by a thing called insulin. And in Aberdeen, we have Professor J.J. MacLeod, who actually was involved in it, and he was ignored. The Canadian government kind of hushed him out of it, but he was instrumental in getting insulin made, and we are getting a statue of him put in our local park. The pioneer that they tried to shove him aside and put it to the 2 guys that he was kind of mentoring. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
So Professor J.J. MacLeod, all the diabetics, they would come with, and he would say, right, this and that, because that was the students that made the insulin, and the Canadian government kept it for themselves, and they were awarded but he eventually got, what's that, Nobel Peace Prize. It was John. I've passed his house, but he just faded out and he just didn't say anything. But as I say, that's going up in the park, and it's quite interesting.
Indeed.
Now,
okay,
just one quick. I think a viewer from Royston Radio wrote a comment on their Facebook page. Did you see it?
No. I didn't. You want to read it to us, Peter?
No, because I think me just to find it, but it's there. I did reply to it, actually. Right. I put in Royston Radio, and all these different things come up. So he did say he liked our talks.
Oh, good. We've got a listener. At least we know Fon's listened. We know you and I listened. Yeah. I mean, it worked, as you said, the sound quality on the radio was excellent, wasn't it?
Did they do anything to get that quality, or was that straight from us?
It's basically, I downloaded it from BeLive. I converted it to a sound file, an MP3 file, and then sent it to Fonz.
Yeah.
So Fonz didn't need to do anything to it other than upload it to the right place and schedule it to go out at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Okay.
So it is a Blabbing for Britain production.
Yeah.
But the sound quality was very cool.
It was excellent.
I was listening. Yeah. I was listening on Alexa, because Royston Radio is on Alexa, so you can just say add Royston Radio app, and it does. Yeah.
I actually stayed on and listened to some of the music.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a good jukebox going and some good live shows as well. So shout out to all the DJs at Royston Radio. And I do believe that Fonz is going to be on air next month, which will be brilliant. Fonz back with his own show on his radio station. So good luck with that, Fonz. We're all cheering for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Burnley take a step nearer going back up to the Premiership. With every match they win, they're a step clearer. But unfortunately, John, Liverpool seem to be having problems at the moment.
Heading in the opposite direction, aren't they? Going down the league.
Deeper and down.
Yeah, it's the situation.
Hang on. That was a quote from Status Quo.
Yes.
From the song Down, Down, Deeper, Down, Down.
Yeah.
Well, they're going through a change, aren't they? He's got to rebuild the team.
Yeah.
The same people can't do it forever. Yeah. And some
right.
of the good ones have left.
Yeah, I was reading a comment this morning that said that the midfield is getting on a bit. Now, getting on a bit is relative, of course. It doesn't mean they're all over 50. It means they're all over 30, which is, yeah. How are things up in Aberdeen, Peter? How are Aberdeen doing?
In what way? The football team?
Oh, yeah. Or the weather, whichever you want.
Not a clue. There's a man that doesn't even know what happened in the budget yesterday. I'm in my own world this week.
All right, okay. Well, budget, they have basically put together schemes which will help people return to work. And one of those schemes is a darn good one, it has to be said, that they will now provide 30 hours of childcare for youngsters, well, babies between 9 months and 3 years. Formerly, it was just 4 and 5 years old. Now it's from 9 months old. And they're going to pay for 30 hours of childminding each and every week. But, and here's the thing about everything that was announced yesterday, it's not going to happen today.
No.
It actually comes into play in 2025. Now, by 2025, the whole world can have changed. And you're making promises about something which you may have no control over. We don't know what's going to happen before 2025.
And
yeah,
the hidden little bit was that the mother has to earn £150 a week in return for the free.
Both parents have got to be working and got to work at least 16 hours a week.
And there is £150 on the normal parent, because of course in this day and age the dad could be the stay-at-home, couldn't they?
But I suspect the problem will be the government will set a figure of what they're going to pay, right? Of X amount. But the nursery says, I'm not accepting that amount. This is what we charge.
No, yeah, but that's not the way it works, though, is it? I mean, that's the way it should work. That every private company should be able to set its own fees, but the government are actually saying, okay, this is what we're going to pay,
right?
And that's one side of it. The other side of it is that they obviously need more staff. Okay, they've now said that instead of looking after 4 children, each member of staff can look after 5 children. Okay, so you can take more people in for the same number of staff. So if you had 40 children, you can now take 50 children.
Right.
But the problem is, and we know this, that basically the pay rates for doing that work are £10 an hour.
Yeah.
So are you going to attract enough new people into the childcare industry at £10 an hour?
Listen, there's nothing wrong with £10 an hour. However, in April, it's going to £10.42 an hour.
Yeah, but they kept round this. Loads of the kids are the people in the nurseries are apprentices, so they only have to be paid £6 an hour, and then the rest of them are part-time.
Yeah,
this is an industry my daughter was in for many years before she joined the nursing brigade. and she was in charge of a room full of basic babies with an apprentice and paid £7.25 an hour. So, you know, there's ways and means around all of these things, isn't there?
They're all. I mean, my biggest thing is my wages, and really I'm running half a man too much. But what do you think I've done to solve that at the moment?
Sacked everybody.
No.
Taking new people. Carry on, Pete.
The problem is, if you get rid of someone, you have to replace them later when it gets busy, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, I have to bear the brunt of the quiet time because it takes a good 6 weeks to train someone anyway, right? So I went out and got more sales. That's what I've done. Yeah, I've set a target to go and get X amount, and as you know, I've got a guru guy, and I hate spreadsheets, and he's shit, and he says, look at this, look. He's actually more excited than me. You know, he says, look at the growth here, Peter. Are you telling me you'd done that in January? I goes, yes. At the phone office, well, I says, listen, this figure in January, is that a true figure? Yeah. He says, that's double what it was last January. I says, oh, good. He's more excited than me. So I've set targets. Now, I do believe one thing that may help pubs is, am I right in saying that a draft beer has come down by 11 pence or something?
I wouldn't know.
Stephen, it's frozen.
I couldn't tell you when I went. Oh, no, that's not true. I went to the pub the other week because Dottie's birthday party was held in the pub because it was supposed to be at her other grandma's home, but her other grandma was ill. But apart from that, I haven't been into a pub for years.
Yeah, well,
no.
Just to let the people of Royston know, I do singing at the weekend, and if the price of a draft beer's coming down, and it's to compete with the superstores because they've been getting away with it, and the publicans get hammered. That is good news for me, because if more people come to the pub, I'll be a happier man. And then I can put my prices up when there's a big crowd. And if we're so successful and people, we want the rockin' jocks. We want the rockin' jocks. And I'll say, oh, look at that big queue. Look at all that people. We're not coming. Give us more money.
You best explain who the rockin' jocks are, Peter.
Okay, just to let you know, folks, I've now formed a duo just recently, and we are two guys that go out, and we've also got teddy boy costumes for later, a change, and we go out and we make the place rock. So we're rocking jocks. We don't really do the Scottish music as such, but we do singers like the one Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, that's Annie Lennox from Aberdeen. That's where I'm from. We do a bit of Rod Stewart. We do the Proclaimers, and we get the place rocking. And if you go onto Rockin' Jocks Facebook page, not the Rockin' Jock, but Rockin' Jocks Facebook page, you will see a wee party that we done last Thursday up in Elgin. So that's who the Rockin' Jocks.
Because last week you were talking about the drive up to Elgin, because it was pretty rough weather last week, wasn't it?
Well, the drive back, that was horrendous. I could hardly see in front of me, and I was someone right up my backside. I hate that. I could hardly see. Yeah. And then I got into a place called Keith. Everything was shutting down, you know. It's one of those places where they eat not foreign people, but new people to their village. You know, they'll eat you if you stay too long. That's a joke. And anyway, I went in and I said, I need a coffee. And the woman was just shutting up. And I said, I've got my coffee. That's great. And I've got actually sore thumbs. I can't move my thumb. And guess what? Come on. My ad blue light. And your engine can seize without it. So she was shutting up. I says, I need ad blue. And she just locked up and she opened it up for me. They're kind people up there, actually. What? And then I got this big 10-litre thing. And I was having difficulty. And the guy pulled in local guy, young man. He says, "You're having difficulty?" I says, "I can't." What? He says, "I'll do it for you." And I found out if you use AdBlue, if you use half a can of it, or 3/4 of a can, throw the rest away, because condensation goes in it.
Yeah.
You can never use it again, and it'll contaminate your engine. So he done that all for me, got my coffee, and then set off on my road home. But I didn't think I would make it with the weather.
Right. But now we're getting closer and closer to spring. We know we were here last week. John's going to contradict me, I know, on this, but spring starts on the 21st of March, which is only 5 days away. And today it is an exciting 13 degrees.
There's 2 different springs, but it doesn't matter.
No,
I don't care. As long as the weather gets better. Now, Peter, did you know that in February, Aberdeen was one of the driest places in the UK?
Yeah, we're a strange city, because sometimes we're the hottest place in Britain, sometimes we're the coldest place in Britain, sometimes we're the windiest city in Britain. Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me at all. Weird people up there. Call, I must go, I'll be back.
Bye, Peter. Hello, Stephen.
So I've muted the director's control. I've muted Peter. Peter's still with us in the studio, but his microphone's been muted. And I'll come back to me and John. No, not. Hang on, just a minute. Try this way. Okay. Right. Okay. We'll just hide Peter, and I'll keep an eye out and see what he's up to.
Credit card in the back of his phone?
I don't know.
I wonder if we can catch a still of it, and then use his credit card.
Yeah, we can't. We need his code. that wouldn't work. Okay, so let's go here. So GPT-4. Have you had a look at it?
No, to be honest with you, I'm not all that excited. I have to admit that I've signed up for Microsoft Designer, which is their thing. But the wordy things don't really, if I want to write something, I write it myself. Yeah. I have control then of what I say. But I know you've been using it and then selectively taking the bits out of it, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I use it for generating, catching headlines for YouTube videos, which works well. Headlines a search engine likes. And also for writing the first paragraph, because you've got to catch people's attention in the first paragraph in a blog. If you don't, they won't read the rest of it. The odds are they won't read the rest of it anyway. So you've got to try and get the full story in the first paragraph. And I mean, Jasper is very good at that. And there are so many on the market at the moment. I'm loving Mitch Jackson, who's heavily into all things AI and 3D and virtual worlds. I've been doing some amazing photographs. Well, not he's been doing them. He's learned how to get the word seeding correct, so that he's producing some amazing images. Yeah, and they're all original art, and you could use them anywhere. No copyright on them at all. So in terms of that, and Peter, I think Peter's back. Just a minute, we'll soon find out.
Hello, Peter.
No, he's not.
Peter.
No, he's still
we can't
quiet.
afford these long silences.
Oh, he's got another phone call. Yeah, so basically, it does help. I mean, I know that if I put a decent title in a YouTube video, I get more views, and the same is true of a blog. I wouldn't use it to write a full article, and if I did, not think I'm going to, I would actually give it credit for actually writing it. But the thing is that we don't know who's written what now.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you see there was a post on Facebook about the different versions of ChatGPT, Yeah, because there are 3 versions, aren't there? And all 3 of them would have passed the American Law Society bar exam.
Yeah. And we've reached that point where computers, phenomenal. We're watching a series at the moment on Netflix, and the series is called The $1 Billion Code. And this is the story of TerraVision, which was the German precursor of Google Maps. And it's telling us, do you remember TerraVision back in the 90s?
Probably, but getting old now and the memory's struggling these days.
Terra as in land, Latin word for land, terra, and then vision on the end. And these guys were using what we would call a mainframe computer. And they had they had the Earth, and people used to be able to come in, and they had to make an appointment to see the computer. But their dream was to actually get it onto a PC, and even better than that, mobile phone. But in those days, there weren't any mobile phones, so they settled for the PC. I'm just testing whether Peter's ready or not.
Yeah, we got a thumb up.
Right.
Now, Peter. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
You carry on. I'll ask Peter the question after you finish.
Hello.
Thank you. We're here. We're here. We can hear you. We can hear you and see you. We're just talking about TerraVision, video series on Netflix called The $1 Billion Code, all about a German startup which actually put together what we would now call Google Earth in the 90s. And they did it on a mainframe. And they were sponsored by Deutsche Telekom and others. And people used to go and pay to actually use the system. And their dream was to actually put it onto computers and mobile phones. And we're only on episode 2 at the moment, but it's uncannily like what Google Earth became. And Google Earth didn't start till 2000 and something. So it'd be interesting to find out what the story is. But these computers are just getting so clever, Peter.
Yeah, sorry, just to let the people who's watching and listening, that's the fast pace of a rat catcher in a modern society. And I'm standing in for my supervisor today, and all for 2 weeks, and just listen. If there's anybody, I'm going to give a tip. If you have built your business up and you're sitting at the top of the tree now, what to do is every so often, if you've got service vans around you, go, oi, pick me up at my office, pick me up at my house. I'm coming out with you for a couple of hours and meet my staff and buy you a cup of tea and speak to the customers. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And my supervisor was worried because I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I might take it back. And his eyes opened. So that's a joke. But no, it's done me good to get out in the field. So Mr. Marks and Spencer's at the top of the tree. You need to get in that till for a couple of hours and see what the till people have got to do to make your money for you. End of message.
John, you had a question for Peter.
Yeah. Is that a credit card inside your phone?
Yes, it is. That didn't work. Twice it's failed. I'm going to have to.
Right, okay, because I was going to say somebody needs a quick freeze frame and they'll be ordering off your Amazon.
Yeah, I've had that before. I'm actually 19 years teetotal, folks, and I don't smoke. So why would I be buying cigarettes and alcohol in Asda and Leeds? There's a question for you. I got scammed or whatever it is. I got my money back. But so you've got to be careful. Even we're fully technological, kinda. I ask you, but even now, when I get an email in, I go and look at the email and see what it is. If it says Amazon or something, I go and look at the email to see, and if it's got something Gmail or something like that in it, I know it's a scam. Little things like that give it away.
I've had
twice. The thing.
Sorry. Go on, Stephen. You go first.
The thing though with a scam is if you're wide awake and you check the email address, you can sort of put it in spam if it's not already there. But if you're half asleep, you can inadvertently click something. I'm not saying I've done it more than once, but you can click something just in a stupor, as it were. John?
I was going to say I've had 2 attempts at buying via using my PayPal thing, but the mistake they use is I don't use my ordinary everyday address for PayPal. So I know straight away when it says the email address every day that it's fake. Yep.
It's quite interesting. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing. Right, in my industry as a pest controller, people think, I've even had an undertaker turn up at the door. They think it's funny to phone people and get them to come. Anyway, so it was 1 a.m. True story. It was 1 a.m. and there was a voice at the end of the phone. And it said, are you the pest control? I goes, yes, there's 2 stories actually. Are you the pest control? And I thought it was a good one actually, but it was 1 a.m. We were having a party and it says, yes, we've had rats eat all our cheese. It's okay, no problem. I'll get out in the morning to you. Yeah. She goes, no, and that's not the problem. She says, where will we get cheese at this time of night? So that was true story 1. Then another one, again, after the midnight hour, a guy phoned me up and said, is that Mickey Mouse, the pest control man? And I said, yeah. Is you in pest control? Mousy man called me everything. And I heard everybody in the back laughing. And I says, oh, you're obviously at a party. And you know me, I just kept on the phone and had a laugh. I says, all right, listen, mate. Okay, I'm going to wait in my bed now because I'm busy in the morning, but thanks for phoning. I hope I've given you a laugh. However, the idiot left his phone number on the phone. And this is truth. I set the alarm for 3 every morning. I was a milkman. I used to get up at 3. And I set it at 3 in the morning. And I phoned them. This is that guy was wanting Mickey Mouse. I says, are you sure you don't want me? I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I says, okay. Have a good sleep. And I'd done it every week. And I'd done it for a week. I says, I'm just wanting to make sure that you're not wanting Mickey Mouse at this time of night. He says, I beg you, please. I need to keep my phone on for work. And I says, you'll never do that again, will you? And he didn't. Revenge! And I love revenge. I don't know about you. Lovely. That's a true story, folks.
Yeah, no, somebody annoys you and you can get back. Why not? Right, just talking about mobile phones, which Peter is doing. Basically, when you get a scam call, you can't always be sure. There is a little program called Watcher, W-O-T-C-H-A. W-O-T-C-H-A. I'm on Android mobile. And basically, Watcher is free. And if you get a spam call, it will just block it. And you can actually go and look at it afterwards. So you can actually stop getting the spam calls, which is absolutely brilliant. So W-O-T-C-H-A, shout out for them. And they are available on Android and quite possibly on iPhone as well. And it does keep your phone safe. And even if you're half asleep, as I mentioned earlier, it will stop spam calls coming in. I'm getting calls at the moment, I think about EE. Basically, it's a spam call trying to get you to spend money.
Yeah.
It's a false EE system. I've had the same call 3 times. Watcher has caught it each time.
Now, could you maybe type that in the program for everybody to see? Put it on screen. Watcher.
Well, WOTCHA. We've no.
WO.
Yeah, WOTCHA.
Okay,
I'll put it
because
on.
I put an A, you see, I couldn't hear it. Watcha. I'll look at that now and just put it in. So it's there.
But I can only show it on screen, Peter, and our listeners in Hertfordshire will not be able to see it, so which is why I spelt it out.
Watcha. Okay, thank you for that. It's another little gem. Watcha.
Okay, so that's now on screen.
So,
right. Now, have I mentioned Trundle before? I think I have.
Yeah.
Basically, Trundle is a UK system. It's basically where every time I go out the door and I take a step, I'm raising money for charity. And basically this week, just to show you know the sort of thing that we actually get up to, if I go for, no, I've gone to the wrong app. Somebody's moved it. Okay. I think if I go here, oh, we're raising funds for Move Against Cancer this week. I can't actually get it.
Yeah, it's too bright.
But we did raise £250 last week for charity, which all good. So Trundle, TRUNDL.
Good. Well,
great.
Just to give you a bit of news, I've had a disappointment this week. I found out I'm a freak. So what happened was, I've had 2 years of a really painful verruca that I can't get rid of. Spent a lot of money in it. And I was going in for a 250 quid treatment at my, a really good guy, actually. And over the years, people can't find my pulse on my feet beside my ankle. It should be next to your ankle. And all you hear the go. He couldn't find it. He says, and then he moved it far away. He says, here it is, here. He says, I've never met a person like you. He says, never. He says, I'm astonished. It's right out here.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is put an injection in there, that area, that goes down to the sole of my foot and numbs it. And he done that. 5 times he injected me with anaesthetic. And guess what? He says, Peter, I can't do this operation. He says, your foot's not reacting to it.
Oh.
And 5 vials of it into my body. And it didn't work. Because no, he says, shut your eyes and tell me if you can feel this. It goes, yeah, I can feel it.
Right.
So disappointed. So he says, let me go up higher and see what we can do for you. He says, because I know that's better. So that's it. I'm a freak. My pulse is in a different place from everybody else. Not happy.
No. I can see that, yeah. So do you have another way forward?
Well, he says they've got like a laser thing or something like that. He says, but we're told don't use it in diabetics or something. He says, so I'm going to take further advice. And he says there's a new acid coming out, right, that I may put on your face. So all these things are happening. A verruca, absolutely. Most of them weren't interested in it. I just put on cream. But it's right in the heel of my foot. And I says, look, I do a wee bit of singing and I'm standing my feet all night. But when you're singing, I don't feel it because I'm too occupied.
Yeah.
And I might be getting arthritis. He says, if to get on my left, he says, I'm going to put you in for x-rays to see if you've got arthritis. I says, how do you cure it? He says, you don't. You'll get painkillers. I might get one of those disabled badges. And I'll be able to chase people off blue badge signs and, get out of here, that's mine, go on. And I'll go around and I'll be, because I watch that on TV, all the amount of cheating that goes on with the blue badges is unbelievable. That's what I watch for entertainment. And it's great. I watched one day a blue badge, somebody in a blue badge space, and a wheelchair thing come in with several wheelchairs in it, and they come out and they sat behind the car. And they come out and says, could you move, please? They goes, no, we're blocking you in. because you didn't let us get our place, our rightful place. We'll maybe teach you not to do it again. We'll get the police. Go and get them. Not caring. It was great. It was lovely. Yeah.
Did anybody watch the
Sorry.
Are you guys still using Strava?
Not at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
One of the biggest drugs lord has recently been captured due to the use of Strava, because whilst they couldn't find him anywhere, they managed to find him on Strava and find out where he was from following his Strava routes.
Well, yeah, that's brilliant. That's a good piece of detective work, because Strava, you're actually telling people where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not if it was live, but you've still got, every time you finish a walk, you've got a map of exactly where you've been. And you basically
they started in the same place, didn't they? So they reckon that it was where he was living. Apparently he was living there.
I've got a lady in my cycling team. She says, "Oh, don't put your address. She starts her Strava once she's away from her house, and people can see. She's away." Especially in, I think, a live one or something like that. Yeah,
and then there was a follow-up story to that, about Strava, and in the same newspaper, and it said that during lockdown, the French police used it to find cyclists who were breaking lockdown.
Right.
They provided all the evidence.
This isn't Strava, but I've seen it a couple of times over in America. They couldn't get hold of a lot of the crooks that were out and hadn't. No, there was warrants out for the arrest. They couldn't get hold of them. So what they done was they got, I think it's their emails or something like that. They got something and they sent them a free ticket to either a baseball game or what they call football. And there was a massive queue, and they were all laughing, and they were all smiling because they were getting Diet Coke or Coke in the queue, and they were all happy as Larry. And the pom-pom girls were there, but they were all policewomen. And they played the guys with their baseball. Hey, have a great time. And they took him in and said, "You're under arrest." And they got and they were queuing up to be arrested. I thought that was really funny.
I think Strava is a brilliant piece of kit, because it helps you basically push yourself. So it'll give you the route you've just done. Sorry, you're so used to American shows. Give you the route you've just done, and it will give you your pace all the way around. So then you can decide where you're doing bits too slow. Now, I did the park run with Angelica last Saturday at 9 o'clock, as we do every Saturday, and I used Strava to actually work out where I can go a bit faster to get closer to Angelica. At the moment, she's 4 minutes faster than I am. I'm never going to catch her, I know that, but I can try, because she's got 5 years on me. So and the other big news, we've now got our dates sorted for Australia 2024. So put it in your diary. There will be no Blabbing for Britain from the 14th of February to the 4th of March 2024.
Oh, me and John will have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. John will have to pay for
I've got a bit of news as well.
Go on.
I've booked a holiday for Portugal.
Excellent.
It's 5 years since I had a holiday. 5 years due to medical complications. I got a worldwide health, 400 quid a year. And and I hope to travel in the future and make up for it. But that's if I get time off, because with my singing, we're getting fully booked.
You have to keep that part of the calendar free.
Sorry?
You'll have to keep part of your calendar free. You have to work out who's going to run the business while you're away? And
I've got. I mean, that's no problem now. I've got it, but it's the singing. I've had to tell my singing partner I need to meet and put a date in the diary for my next holiday and yours. But then Sheila will say, "I've got my dog agility at that time," and it's complicated, you know.
Life is complicated.
Yeah.
Keeping everything in sync, keeping everybody happy, really. Yeah.
No.
But a holiday now is a major event, isn't it? Because we're not used to them. We've not taken them for the last 3 years.
I said to Sheila, I feel sorry for Sheila because she's a pensioner, I'm not. And I says, "Darling, get the holiday booked and I'll pay some of it." She says, "Oh, thank you, Pete." I says, "Here's a tenner."
Do you remember get you to the end of the road, Peter?
Pardon?
A tenner would not get to the end of the road if you're going to the airport.
I thought I was being generous. Remember a story I told you about? I'm going to get a shave after this, but how I like a good shave, and I used the toothbrush to clean it. And Sheila said to me, "I use a toothbrush to clean it, folks, and clean it out, and then I've got a special thing about it." And Sheila used her toothbrush one day and says, My teeth got full of black things. I says, "Oh, that was what I used to clean my razor. Do you remember that?" Well, I've got 2 Bluetooth brushes myself, and I picked up the wrong one, and I actually done my teeth with the razor clean. Oh dear.
Don't you have one of these, Peter?
What's that? Oh yeah, the cleaner, yeah. Yeah. John's got one of the cleaners. He uses it for different things, nothing to do with a razor blade.
It's simply because I have to plug the plug it into the battery charger in the corner down there, because there aren't any sockets in the bathroom.
Right. Oh, you don't want them in the bathroom. You'd kill yourself. Oh, speaking of bathroom, Sheila had to do my toes and things this morning. It's because your feet are shrunken. Well, I spent 2.5 hours in the bath last night. But I've got one of those things that goes across wooden.
Yeah.
And I sit and look at my iPad and watch things on it. It's a great place to be, to relax.
I don't think I shower, so I couldn't do 2.5 hours in the bath.
Oh, it's great. You just keep in.
I did 2.5 hours in the shower though, Peter.
I just keep rushing in, and then people laughed at me. I phoned Sheila for the bath. "Oi, hello, darling. Could you bring us up a cup of tea?" And she goes, then the next thing, the door's open with a cup of tea. My Sheila's wonderful, wonderful woman. And we've had one real row in my life. I'll let you know that. One real row. And that was it. That's amazing. One.
It is. It is.
Yeah. People say to me, "How the heck did you end up with Sheila?" Because she's absolutely gorgeous. And she says, "How did she get you?" And I says, "Because she was lucky."
You're in a Christmas cracker, were you, Peter?
Oh dear. A lot of people at my pub think I'm 56. But I'm 60.
It's just a number. It's just a number.
Yeah.
It's just how you feel when you get up in the morning, whether you want to get on with things.
Yeah.
It's how you feel.
I think you've got to have a purpose when you retire, you know. You've got to have a purpose. And I remember when 65, when I was a kid, so old Bill's retired with his cloth cap. And then they say, "Oh, have you heard about old Bill?" 2 weeks later, he's passed away.
Yeah.
Because he had no purpose in his life. I will have a purpose until my dying day.
Yeah. Purpose and focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
From a personal point of view, something to look forward to from a professional point of view, and a goal. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we've gone the days of world domination, but basically just actually achieving something each day, learning something new. Now there's the thing that does keep you going. And we're fortunate to be in an era when there's something new every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to learn, something to get to grips with, something to master. And that basically that drives you forward. The technology is always moving. I mean, I'm personally waiting for an update to a piece of software I use. Software is
Right.
called Go Studio,
Yeah.
and I've been waiting patiently since last September. But I know it's going to be this month. They've said it's going to be this month.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to.
Do you know, many years ago, when I was an adult, I used to go and play a combat soldier game, right? And I used to use coding, and I would make up the assault at the beach, and they came off. If one went that way, he done a tripwire, and it would cause this boom to come up. And if this happened, a helicopter would come and fly in, and I set all that up, and they used to. Well, they were younger, and they says, "Peter, what have you made for tonight?" And it's okay. I used to sit for hours making up combat scenarios, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the same with my tank simulator. And
Yeah.
I could have I could be the commander of the tank, and Australian could be driving it, and my gunner would maybe be in Belgium or something like that. And it was the most realistic scenario, because I remember when he turned and he see it, and all I heard him was, "It's the enemy! It's the enemy!" And he was panicking. And I said, calm down, pull back over the ridge, move, go right, pull forward, right, zap, boom, pull back. It was fantastic. It was like real,
Yeah, you keeping the old grey matter ticking over with challenges. There's a program on Android called Woody Cross. Woody, as in Woody, and Cross, as in cross. And basically, it's a word game. And you get what effectively is a crossword, and you've got to put, using a certain number of letters, you've got to fill the grid.
Yeah.
And I love the game. And I play 7 or 8 of an evening, watching television, just playing the word game, keeping things ticking over. And I got to level 6,304 last Thursday.
Yeah.
And I completed it as usual, did everything I should do. And I went to click to get level 6,305. And it said, there isn't a level 6,305. You've done the last one.
Oh,
Got to the end of the game. Woody Cross. I mean, brilliant game. It's simple, straightforward, but it does challenge you. So then I thought, well, where do you go from there? How can you replace it? Because the game itself is unique.
Yeah.
So you can't just swap to another version of it. So I thought, right, okay, let's go back to Scrabble. Because I played Scrabble with Arena Ponomareва in Russia, if you remember Arena, John. For many years. And I thought, I got a Scrabble game, the official Scrabble game. And I've got to tell you that the more interruptions, more adverts, more crap on that. Anyway, I'm not going to name the program, but it was just impossible to actually use it.
Yeah.
So because you can play against people, you can play against a computer. And then I found this piece of software, and it's just simply Scrabble. You play Scrabble against a computer, end of.
Yeah.
And I got this program, and you put in the first word in Scrabble, and within a split second, you've got the computer's response. This thing is so darn fast.
Oh.
Most of the programs, you've got to wait while it cogitates. This system is so well designed, so well honed. And I thought, well, I'm enjoying this. It's not going to disappear. I'll buy it. So I paid my £4.39 to the developer. And I've got a new hobby now, which is playing Scrabble.
Okay. Well, when I first met Sheila, she knew nothing about computers, right? Yeah. And I would have a computer in the bedroom, and she would be lying there watching telly, and I'd have my earphones on, and I'm playing there. And it was about on 2.5 to 3 hours on the computer. And she said to me, I don't know how you could sit here all that time. This is enjoyable. So anyway, we got her a laptop. And she found Scrabble online to play with an opponent live. Got it all set up. And then, but 2.5 hours later, I says to her, I don't know how you can spend all that time on there. Now, as I watch her sitting watching the television, all I can see her is on her iPad.
Yeah.
It is how things change, you know?
How we change as well.
There's one thing, Stephen, I don't think you'll ever get Alzheimer's.
Well, if you keep busy, Peter, I'm my fingers and toes are crossed. But if you keep busy, then you're cutting the chances.
I'll tell you one thing I'm going to do. I don't know if you guys have done it yet. I'm going to put our house into a trust, right? Because if anything happens, they can't touch it. If you don't do it, and somebody gets Alzheimer's, they'll say, "Oh, we'll need your money to pay for you."
Ours has been in trust for many, many years.
Right. So it's worked for you, John?
Well, I don't know. Never had the cause for it to be other than that.
Yes,
but it's been in trust because that's what the solicitor advised yonks back.
Yeah, and I know an old lady, or I won't go say too much, and she went into a really prestigious home, a lot of money, quite a rich woman, and they just depleted everything. And it's shocking. And then, I believe when you've run out down to your lowest, they maybe have to move you to another home because the government won't pay their fee to that price. Shocking. So I'm going to look into that. Right. However, time. It's 10:59 now. As soon as we finish, folks, people are roisting. I hope you're listening in. Make a comment, because as soon as that's off, I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Yeah, we started 2 minutes late. John, it's over to you.
It's that time that I get to talk on my own at every show, and that's because it's time to go. So it's goodbye from him down there in Scotland, and him up there in Wiltshire, and me here in the West Midlands, and we'll be here same time, same place for 500,657th episode. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody, and thank you, Royston and Fonz. Bye.